To finish something, you need to start with it first. The same principle applies to stopping your addictions. You can never expect to sleep at night and wake up the following day with your system thoroughly washed off of your addictions when you did not do anything about it. The first and undoubtedly most crucial step for curbing your addictions is acknowledging their existence. When you accept that you have a bad habit, it will be much easier for you to continue your journey and finally set yourself free. Acknowledging your addictions, your initial step to recovery. As the old saying goes, even the longest journey starts with only a single step. So likewise, the road to stopping your addictions begins with one crucial step. But in the case of addiction, this is not just any step because the truth is, it is the hardest step that you might ever have to take in your life. It is a step that everyone with an addiction should take if they are genuinely determined to overcome their bad habits. When you acknowledge your addiction, it means that you accept that it has become a part of your life, a part of who you are. When you have admitted it, and you can face up to this challenging fact, it is time to finally start taking control, not only of your addiction but of your life as a whole. It is pretty much setting the ground rules for the upcoming battles. That line in the sand marks the start of a brand new life for you and your whole family. Acknowledging your addiction is all about genuinely admitting to yourself, in the deepest parts of your heart, that you have an addiction, not just a simple problem but a severe problem that you can control if you put your mind to it. It would be best if you faced the fact that you have a real addiction, no matter how difficult or hurtful it might be. Of course, doing this is and will never be easy, but the moment you can do that and finally acknowledge it for what it is, you will be able to own it as a part of yourself and a part of who you are. However, it does not mean that you have to blame or hate yourself for it. It only means that you have finally decided to stop denying the reality and the excuses or justifications generally associated with addiction. Be rational, and don't deny it. One of the most complex aspects of human nature is denying brutal truths, but it is nothing to be ashamed of. On the contrary, people use this standard defense mechanism when the truth becomes too challenging to accept. But in the case of addicts, this denial does not protect them at all, and instead, this allows them to continue with their addiction. That is why the second step for overcoming your addiction is to avoid denials and learn to be rational instead. Denial, a delusion to overcome. When you enter the world of addiction, you will also reach a point of denial. Addicts, in most cases, refuse to accept any suggestion that they might have a problem. For example, a particular study has reported that much classified alcohol or drug-dependent people deny that they require treatment. In contrast, another study showed that just 1.2% of the about 7.4 million adults in America with untreated alcohol abuse disorder thought that treatment could help them. But why do people with addictions fail to see what other people around them see? It seems as if they have become servants to their bad habits and that it will kill them sooner or later. Denial is one way of saying that you are terrified of contemplating the real meaning of your brief insight regarding your problem. Since you are unnerved, your brain will refuse to let you continue to stay in denial. Denial eliminates the need to quit, and nothing is scarier than that in the universe. To stop is equivalent to the world coming to an end, the end of your very self. You cannot bring yourself to imagine it, as it is like trying to project how the world would be if the laws of physics did not apply. Even if addicts will never admit it, their rational mind does not roll over, chiseling out tiny chinks in the wall of denial. And even if their rational brain tries to battle back, denial falls back into its original position. Because addiction is a disease that continues to worsen, eventually, denial will lead to death. Of course, this is not something you want to happen, and the best resolution is to start being rational. To stop addiction, listen to that sensible voice inside your head. No matter how tiny, it is what will lead you to your recovery.